Hey guys, welcome to my channel, A Guiding Light. My name is Candice. We're going to do a general reading, so take what fits, leave the rest. It may be for you, it may not, some of it may fit. Just take what applies and leave the rest. Please look at my description box for information about the channel, Patreon information. If it's not in there yet, it's coming, and I'll do a video on that when it comes out, but it's coming very soon. Email information, people ask about donations, that's in there. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's a way to give back for my time and energy. Also with, if there's any kudos available or anything like that. But please like, share, comment, subscribe, especially if this resonated with you, okay? But let's get started. This reading, it was a little bit difficult for me, so I'm going to try to do my best to do this justice. But it's a very good message, I feel. And I feel like it's a very, honestly, it's a collective healing that's needed, to be honest. So I may actually do a separate video on this on its own. But in the in the recent past, you have the Four of Pentacles sideways. So you're starting to release some level of foundation you were holding on to or belief system. At the very least, it's a lack mentality is the biggest thing that I'm getting from it. You are in the process of shifting out of it, or at least some part of you is. In the present moment and current, you have the Two of Cups, but this particular Two of Cups is a masculine and a feminine mermaid, and they're kind of both reaching for the same cup. So they're, yes, in a way, they're looking outside themselves. There's not a union here. That's a big thing that's coming up, is like a separation or disintegration of your masculine and feminine energies. And they're kind of conflicting and at war. There's an energy here of like a self-sabotage. So if you have a history of self-sabotage, if you are self-sabotaging, or this is something to help you prevent you from in the future self-sabotaging this. What's crowning this, which is not like an idea of it, this is, let me just say what the block is to this. You have the Ten of Cups. This is an abundant energy. Feeling like you have enough. It's just, I'm going to go simple here because I'm going to save the time for what I need to explain. This is an abundant energy. What is affecting you is you're trying to come out of a lack energy. You're in the middle of working on it. But what's blocking you is a lack of abundant energy. I know that sounds obvious, but bear with me. The reason is your masculine and feminine are not on the same page. They're not integrated. They're not in union. They're not working with each other. They're not cooperating with each other. Your likely future is the King of Pentacles reversed. I'm going to move through these quickly because the main message is going to come after as I piece it all together. King of Pentacles reversed. So, not getting where you're trying to go, not bringing the abundance of it, and honestly, a masculine in a negative form. In this case, your masculine is 100%. Your masculine energy within you. It may be outside of you. Again, take this as it goes, flip it, do whatever you need to do, take what fits, leave the rest, all of that. It may be outside of you. I'm going to read this like it's inside of you, which honestly makes sense anyways, because most of the time, if you have that outside of you, you've got these energies inside of you, okay? So your masculine energy is sabotaging you. It's literally your masculine energy in the likely future will have won. This is a not helping you build what you are trying to build. This is a not helping you take action. Feminine energy is the faith, the hope, the energy, the inspiration, the chaos. It's the energy that helps things flow and move and all of that. The masculine energy is the one that helps you make strategy and be logical and be safe, but also provide the action. It's the structure and the action to the inspiration and the flow, okay? And this is negative. This is your reverse. This is your likely future, What helps you kind of turn that around to where it's like a King of Pentacles in the upright energy is you have the Eight of Pentacles. And no, in this one, it's not the traditional sense like it's, oh, go do the work. Yeah, kind of. That'll eventually come. It's more of a, if you look, this Eight of Pentacles is a male, but he's got a really lot of spiritual stuff on him. He's very much about, he's got his magical necklace on, he's got his magical cape, his magical crown, all of that. I really get from it, it is a well balanced and union of masculine and feminine energy. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to keep going because there's a pivotal part to this. Because at first, this is where I was sitting with it, where I'm like, all right, well, this isn't telling me much. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, most people either know that if they're at this part of this journey, or how do we fix it? What do I want to know? What do I need to know about this? So let me get to these two cards first, and then we'll go to that as I delve a little bit deeper into that to kind of help you guys out with this, okay? Your two oracle cards for this is, again, abundant and lack. Here's your abundant. Two hearts, they're in union, okay? There's a union to this. And when I saw this, I got like of two different minds. But this one, there's one heart, and they're really in union. They're working together. This one, here's the two aspects of you I'm getting. It's the girl and the rabbit. And it's lack, right? She's got really nothing around her. She's ostracized him, or he's ostracized. They're not working together. And now you go from this lovely being in union and being together, and you're both, kumbaya-ing and all that, to being separate. Your masculine and feminine are having issues. Okay. So when I was like, why is the masculine basically not trusting this, and sabotaging this? And I got, I don't know what order these go. First is the fox reversed. Upright, it's not seeing things correctly. So I really just got with this reverse, like there's an illusion. It's not seeing things correctly, whether it's upright or not. You have this card, which I don't know if they're small enough, so I have to cover them. But this is a very religious version of this card where it's depicting like Adam and Eve, and like there's an apple, like Eve is handing Adam the apple. And there's like an abundance of like animals all around here, blah, blah, blah. Like there's that. I'll explain it in a little bit. And then there's this reversed. So if you look, like, let me cover them up. Like this card, there's trees all around. There's fruit on the trees. There's all these animals, all this stuff. But it's reversed. And then this, there's like hardly any animals. And there's no fruit on the trees. Okay? So what I was getting from this part was the masculine is not trusting the feminine. And it was like, I'm going to go off this as a biblical version to show you this, but it's just a metaphor. It's whatever. But that at one time, Eve messed everything up. Like she didn't know. She doesn't always know best. You can't trust her. Someone came in and deceived her and it messed everything up, blah, 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 blah. So like as she's trying to take this plan to, and it might not even just be her, it might be like spirit and all that, trying to bring them into like heal that and bring that abundance mindset again, which is clearly what a part of you is trying to do. It was trying to move out of this Four of Pentacles energy, this lack energy. But what's hurting you from going into that abundant energy is your masculine not trusting it. And as of right now, your masculine also thinks that that energy is tied to the feminine, and this Four of Pentacles is a masculine. Like, no, I'm gonna hold on and keep us, okay and all that. When he's identified with something that is not really what his energy really was. It's not what either of their energy really was. There's still an illusion and a deception to what happened. So I'm like, all right, well, how can we fix this? And I got the cards. So this is how they actually came up. Like, here's your masculine, here's the luck card, the 4-leaf clover, and here's your feminine. Like, your blessings are by these two working together and being in union. And I'm like, okay, well, again, at least for me, and hopefully a lot of you guys, that's an obvious. What am I missing as to, like, what is the illusion here and the deception? And at first, like, what is the masculine not seeing correctly? So I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble talking. I don't know if it's Mercury retrograde, I don't know, but a knowledge card, the book. And then I'm like, okay, yes, we know. What else? And I have a feminine, like there's a kid, like a girl kid, and then, a very burdened masculine energy. They're very separated. So again, it separated it. And the true illusion here that the masculine is missing is, like, for one, placing blame. That's where the true sin supposedly came in, because I, like, looked this up. I'm like, what's up with this? And yes, Eve ate first, and then Adam also agreed. And then, but that wasn't the sin. They were told by God not to eat the fruit, which was either permanent or temporary to see as a test of faith, obedience, and all that. And also possibly, like, were they ready to eat the fruit? And they not only did not listen, but they didn't, like, go for guidance. Like, that was the true sin where it started. So Adam was the first to blame it on the female. Then the female also blamed it on the snake, and everyone blamed it and didn't take responsibility. So there came sin. So shame, guilt, all that, brutality, whatever. But the problem is that the masculine is not seen correctly, is that the snake, they were both deceived. Like, it wasn't just the feminine. They were both deceived. Like, if she didn't eat first, he would have also ate. She handed it to him, and he willingly ate all the same. It doesn't matter at that point who ate first and who didn't and all that other stuff. They were both put under an illusion and deception. This, and I don't know if this was the intention of it. I will say there's a lot of energies and forces out there, lower vibrational beings, that do aim, their goal is to cause imbalance between the feminine and masculine energies. Because for one, that's going to imbalance the person, and it's going to cause issues with their emotions. And that's one of the biggest and greatest ways they kind of latch in or affect you, whether it's a person, an unseen being, whatever it is, lower vibrational energies. Also, not only is it a way to latch in, but if it creates that block. The true union is the coming together and the opening of the flow, and that creates the connection to the higher wisdom, the higher perception, the seeing, and the guidance, wisdom, and all of that, the nourishment, everything from God. Plus, it also raises your vibration to where those things, they can't affect you. Your vibration then is too high, and your thoughts will be high as well, which then clears any low vibrational emotion and thoughts of your own, not only that are already existing, but also from further creating in the future. You have higher vibrational thoughts, A lot of times your emotions are created from your thoughts. So they feed off that energy, they feed off the fear, they feed off the lower vibrational emotions. So it is beneficial if they're trying to A, sabotage things, but B, feed off you and all that other stuff, to have your masculine and feminine not united, to have your masculine and feminine confused or conflicting or of two minds or at war, but war is a little bit extreme. At the very least, they're not in union and they're not in a balanced flow. And then it creates all the other issues, which now allows them to remain, be, and get what they want. It's more likely. So the illusion is that not only were they both deceived and both under an illusion, so there's no point in putting that blame. It wasn't that the feminine energy was wrong. They both were equally in the wrong. They both equally messed up. They both equally didn't see. But also, the point of all this, which the masculine energy is further playing into, is the further separation, which was one of the intentions, I believe, of that lower vibrational energy deceiving them or casting illusion, because it allows them to go in and hook and do the things they need to do and to remain there in the first place and to stay. So it's really not a protection at that point. What is then happening is sabotage and all-ins for both. It's not protection. It's you're enabling the thing that you would ideally want to protect yourself from, right? The other illusion is the problem wasn't so much with the eating of the apple, and yes, it was not being obedient, and, you know, they just weren't ready. They didn't know, but it was that whether you have a clear mind, whether you're confused, no matter what, and you could argue this under being under the illusion, but not really, because there is always still free will that remains, right? Like, there's always still will when you're under an influence. They still could have taken that to God, to their highest self, to universal energy, whatever your thing is. The problem wasn't in totality that they were deceived. The problem wasn't in totality that they ate the apple. The problem wasn't in totality that the feminine energy just happened to be the one that ate it first because she was closest to the tree, and then gave it to Adam, who just as eagerly ate the apple. The problem was is they didn't show obedience, not just in eating the apple, but the fact that they didn't go to God in the first place. They didn't show their allegiance and their obedience and their faith to God. They both didn't connect to that higher source. That is not just a feminine thing. That is able to be done when the masculine and the feminine, and yes, you could sort of still connect, but it's very muddied. Where that is really able to be done and that full connection is made to source is in the union of the masculine and the feminine, because that allows that balance to happen and that balanced flow, which helps keep your vibration high enough to connect to it, but it also helps open you up. That's why in the Lover's card, you also see the masculine and the feminine holding hands, and they're looking up together. I don't know if that's whoever made the card for it, but if not, they knew but didn't know. You know what I mean? It's the union that really creates that to happen. One of the greatest ways for lower vibrational energies, knowingly or unknowingly, to lower your vibration or affect your connection, relationship, and communication with God, and to have your channel open and flowing and receiving as you should, is to imbalance your energies. And one of the first and greatest ways to imbalance your energies is to cause a division or of a two minds or a conflicting of energies between your masculine and feminine. I'm not just saying this. This is a big thing in Chinese medicine, acupuncture, 5 elements, like almost any spiritual channel. It's a known thing. It is one. It's just in order to explain this, it's separated. But there are certain, like I said, lower vibrational beings and entities and some of the seen world and some of the unseen, that this is one of their first and primary hooks and goals. And if your emotions are already there and it's already done, they don't need to, they just hook in. But if not, it is to try to cause this. That's why a lot of times lower vibrational energies will cause like fights or arguments or try to like nitpick, to cause to like go on and go back and forth, because that can cause an imbalance of the masculine and feminine energies. Like when they're balanced, you're in a higher vibrational state. You don't really mess with that. There isn't a conflicting. It's a team. It's a working together, and it's just kind of like a flow. And I say that in both. That's not just feminine. That's both, because you have the flow, which is the water, and then you have the boundaries of the water. You know what I mean? Like it's just now flowing. But when you take that away, or you mess up the flow or the structure, well, now you have a block, and a block is going to cause an imbalance. And especially when they're against each other, not of like minds, or at war. So the misperception here is actually that staying in this mind, there's no need to further blame the feminine energy. The feminine energy is not weak. Both got deceived. Both participated. Also, further playing into that mindset, I'm just recapping what I said in this video, not to beat a dead horse. Also, to further play in that mindset is to further give what you need to protect yourself from exactly what they want. You're playing further into it. Thirdly, the biggest takeaway from this is that the problem wasn't even all the rest of this. It was that even in their confusion, even in their dark times, even in their deception, they chose in that moment to separate from God, not in the disobedience by eating the apple, but by thinking that they know better and not remaining humble and going to God in the first place. The deception was to get in their ego and think, I know, or I want this, or I can get away with this. You always should go to God. You always should go to your highest self. You always should go to that source. For one, that's like your biggest protector anyways, more than just a masculine alone could ever do. That's why, the masculine ended up in this energy. The masculine's tired right now in the collective. It's tired. And then you've got the feminine over here who, she's trying. She still wants to have fun, but this is really evolving, this reading. The feminine energy in an evolved state isn't really childlike. She's childlike, but she's also very compassionate and has the love and time and will and connection also herself. They're both in balance. They've been disconnected for so long. Neither of them are in their greatest forms. The feminine is stuck as a child who just wants to have fun, and that makes being of service and purpose and honestly just functioning as a human being in this world very hard, because life is not just fun and games. You're gonna have a hard time with this. And then you don't even have this guy anymore trying to keep you going, being like, no, we got to grow up. We got to do this, because he's tired. He's burdened. They're both in imbalanced energies. It's a toxic feminine and a toxic masculine. I'm not saying they're toxic. It's just not only are they not working together and in union and of a balanced flow, and this guy is like, I don't even have it in me to keep going anymore. So all these little fun ideas she has, that's another thing. Like, he might view her like she doesn't see things properly. She's just a child. Like, this isn't fun and games. Look at how hard this has been. And that's the mistake of it all. Like, he's sitting there like still with God. The mistake isn't her ideas. And he's like, I need to stop her. I need to hold her back. She doesn't see things correctly. She's just going to keep making things worse. This is literally the whole reason, or at least the biggest reason, for your sabotage. There's a part of you not trusting another part of you. And she just wants to go and be like, yeah, and he's over here like, no, your yeahs before got me like this, and I don't have it in me to push forth anymore. So as she's like, I'm down, let's do it, he's like, no, we're not. And he's putting a halt to it because he thinks what she's seeing is not right. And I don't know, maybe she doesn't, but it's still needed, because it's not her that has the connection to God. That's why it's not just women who can connect to God and be seers or prophets. It's both of them that can connect to God. And, she might still carry the innocence. He looks at it as being naive, but they both are imbalanced because she hasn't been able to kind of heal her energies to the best of it, and neither has he. But the reason they're so imbalanced is because they're not trusting and working together anymore. And she doesn't understand why he's stopping her, although she does, but she's like, this is what we need, though. And connecting to God and the spiritual thing, yes. But what was I just about to say? I get why they don't trust each other is what I'm saying. Like, he looks at her like she's a child and she doesn't see and just wants to have fun, and this is just another fun venture. I think she's truly getting the right thing. She's trying to get back to an abundance energy. If you look, hers is way more abundant than his. But his is like, yeah, yours would be lack too if I was the one who had to do everything and fix everything. Fair. But that's not the problem. The problem is that by staying separated like this is keeping both in an non-advantageous state. Like, they're both sick. They're both not seeing properly. They're not in their most empowered form. So first they need to realize they need to come together and work together. But he also needs to realize that, one of the reasons he's also sick like this is because their connection in the same way and their channel in the same way to God has been cut off, or it has been highly limited. And a lot of people in society are like this, so it makes sense why a lot of people aren't seeing as well. They're not as connected to God and their highest self, why we are so low vibrational, and why everything is so like heavy in 3D. And that's what the Apple also made it too. By disrupting these energies, it made it more 3D and more where they have control over that. So now they have more control. Because of having these separated, it is in their highest good to keep these energies separated. And he's kind of playing right into it. So fair that he sees her as young and like a child, but she can't grow up unless they come together. And he can't heal and be rejuvenated if they don't come together. And he can't repair his connection to God and get back to, let me hide these naked people, this abundant energy. I know I'm hiding it, but these have fruit all over it. There's tons of animals. This is the Garden of Eden. They can't get back to this heaven on earth abundant mentality if they don't come together and work together and trust each other, because they have to be able to heal that flow and that channel and that connection to God. And although you can have it in a very limited sense separately, you really can't get there until you work together and you bring this into a consistent, united balance, and you don't go against each other, you don't blame each other, you don't think negatively of each other, you basically just work together. And this is what heals their energies. This is what allows both of them to heal and evolve, and then connect their energy back to source, back to their highest self, back to God, back to abundance. Garden of Eden, heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is a perspective. The apple was mentality. It was an energy too, but it was perception. And that perception comes to the emotions, and the emotions now is the energy. It shifted their perception. So neither are seeing correctly, but your feminine's trying, the masculine is sabotaging because of not trusting. everybody can take this and go where they want from it. If you feel like you need to do further, you can work on healing that. You can reach out to me for advice, I guess, if you want. There's different ways you can do this. I'm just meant to tell you this, but also I'm hoping that through connecting to this energy and also, your feminine and your masculine, like listening to this video, I'm hoping that it wakes something up inside of you to where you're like, oh yeah, because you're not going to be able to get where you're trying to go if he's not on board. He's not even going to be able to help you if he's this exhausted. And you both want the same thing. You just have to get on the same page on how to get there and work together and not have him stop all your things going forward. Like, he has to trust you. But he mostly, honestly, above anything, needs to fix his perception, because his perception the feminine wasn't the downfall. The deception was the downfall, and even more so, the lack of obedience and going to God and checking in with God, even amongst confusion, even amongst the darkness, even amongst the lust or the greed or the whatever it is you wanted. You should always go and check with God, not as a way of, oh, poor me, like, I don't need anyone to tell me what to do, but as a way of checking yourself and knowing that you don't always see everything. Not only is it a way of these two working as a team, but it's a higher level of another working as a team. You don't have to get mad, like, oh, like even this, like showing them, like, maybe that's it too, of like, this is us and this is God. I don't know, but just like how these have to work as a team or they're not at their best, you have to work with God as a team. You don't have to look at it as like a disciplinarian or a like, I'm not smart enough or I'm not trusted. That's ego. And ego and unhealed wounds is what's standing in the way of this, which is causing rose-colored glasses, which is deception and misperception. And ego was also standing in the way of this when they didn't go to God with something that was being presented to them. An opportunity, a new way of life, a gift, a relationship, something that was wanted that seemed desirable, or a trying to separate you. And what greater way than to separate you from the light and from God than to separate your own energies inside of you, because your channel now can't open up and do what it was supposed to do because there's a block which created an imbalance. I'm just going to keep going in circles if I keep going with this. I hope this helps. Reach out if people need further help or explanation, or if you want a further video on this, or maybe somebody did help you with this. But hopefully this video in and of itself and the energy that I'm transmuting through it is something that causes an awakening within you and calling forth this level of knowledge and higher vibrational perspective and clarity and truth to hit not only your feminine energy, but also and especially your masculine energy, and bringing in union and bringing in a balanced flow that allows you to now have your blocks removed and your channel to open up and help you rise up in a level at the very least to now connect easier and better and more openly in a flow with God. Okay? I love you guys. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for walking this journey with me, and I'll be talking to you soon, and I'll be seeing you soon. Bye. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to touch my thing like it's a touchscreen. Anyways,